What's up, folks? Welcome. I'm the Chief NFT Strategist. Gang in the building. How y'all doing today? Today, I want to talk to you about a couple different things. I'm not going to talk too much about NFTs today. I'm going to talk about the journey of being a Black entrepreneur, coming from very trying times, but ultimately getting to a point where you're trying to create something great, not only for your culture, but for the world. So before I get into that, I want to do this. So be sure to go out and mint you a Bar Gang NFT. The body launch is coming. I talked about that on one of my past shows. It's coming March 10th at the Wharf in Miami, Florida. Click the link in the description. You can RSVP for the event. And if you want some more information, you can fill out the form and provide your details. So looking forward to your support. Looking forward to the body launch and looking forward to bringing the idea that has been in development and in creation for the past 7 years, bring it to life again with a whole new swag. So excited about that and looking forward to that. So today I'm going to talk about a very touchy subject, but I feel like it is a subject that needs to be addressed. I am a Black entrepreneur, founder, grew up poor, and I just kind of want to share a little bit of my journey, my story, and my experiences. And ultimately, I just want to reach a resolution or contribute my part to asking for not only help for me, but help for any up and coming Black founder, entrepreneur. And I want you to just fully understand the journey as it's been laid out since the beginning of time almost. First, you had slavery, 1619 to 1865. Obviously, we were separated from our families. The names were taken from us. In a lot of instances for Black men, we were emasculated. A lot of bad things happened during the slavery times. So fast forward, a lot of people helped to end slavery. And I don't even want to get into specifics. I'm not the biggest history buff, but I do understand trends and concepts to the point where I understand how this is shaped where we are today. So next you have Jim Crow. So at this point, we believe we're free. We no longer are owned to any white people or slave masters. We now have our freedom, but now we don't even have access and the ability to interact with other people, with whites. We don't have the same educational opportunities. We don't have the same restaurant and food opportunities. We don't have the same access to just things that can better us, not only at that moment, but for future generations. So then during that time, we had something called redlining. And redlining is where we couldn't even participate in purchasing real estate in areas where eventually we can make money, create investments, build generational wealth. If you don't understand this, real estate is one of the most effective ways to build wealth and create generational opportunities for future generations. So we weren't even able to participate with that. Whereas someone were able to buy a property for $5,000, and over time that grows and that grows and that grows, and then they pass that property down to their family, and it grows and it grows and it grows, and to the point where future generations have savings, they have life insurance, they have real estate to pass on to the next generation. We were not given those opportunities, or if we did get those opportunities, they were very, very few and far between. You had to be very exceptional to be able to participate in that. You couldn't be an average person that purchased a piece of property and just by the graces of appreciation and the development of certain areas, you would actually get the opportunity to reap the benefits from that. We were put on the other side, which means we had worse schools, we had worse opportunities for ownership as a whole in terms of home ownership. So, and then the biggie, the 70s, the war on drugs. There were so many names given to the realities that black people were being locked up at a high clip for the littlest things. And once again, I don't want to get into specifics, but understand that mass incarceration is going on today. There's been movies that's kind of documented the 13th Amendment. One of the best books I've ever read was The New Jim Crow. If you have not read that, please pick that book up. It is one of the best explanations of how mass incarceration has separated homes in the black community, has hurt us in terms of earning wealth and income. Because once you get in that system, it's hard to get out. And when you're in the system, when you're in the mass incarceration system, they could pretty much get free labor from you. You work for free. And so many other things that don't even put us in position to uh, build generational wealth over time. So definitely, I just wanted to show you guys that illustration of the plight of the being black. More specifically, I'm talking about the black man being separated from our homes, not having opportunities to do a lot of different things because of slavery, because of Jim Crow, because of redlining, and then ultimately because of mass incarceration. So for me, I grew up very poor. I grew up in the Washington, D.C. area during the crack era. I grew up pretty much living in D.C. and just um, living in an environment where all you heard were ambulance and police cars and the neighborhood. There was always homeless people. People asked for money. Always very nervous when to go outside the house. Eventually moved to an area in Maryland, right beside Washington D.C., called Prince George's County, and that's where I grew up. Did most of my schooling, and my journey, I was able to get through that. I, went to college, got an MBA degree in grad school, and my very early stages of just trying to fit in. I mean, at that particular point in my life, the everything you heard was to climb the corporate ladder. So, my first job out of grad school, it was during the recession. It was 2001, during the recession. I believe Bush Jr. was the president, and it wasn't a lot of jobs available at that particular time. Or one of the biggest things, I had an grad degree, but every interview they would say you didn't have enough experience. So I'm like, hold up. One, how am I gonna get the experience if you don't give me the opportunity to get the experience? And then my education doesn't count for much. That's kind of the opposite of what they told me and why I went to school and got those degrees. But regardless, I got them. I finally got a job. It was not what I expected. I didn't make the money that I wanted to get. I wasn't getting benefits, but I was able to get a job. And through my hard work and effort, I ended up climbing the ladder, getting a bigger salary, making a decent amount of income. But ultimately, I realized that corporate America wasn't for me. I was too outspoken. I was just, this freedom chaser. I wanted to be in control of my time, be in control of what I was doing. So I entered the world of entrepreneurship. And when I started the world of entrepreneurship, man, I was the guy that went to conferences, wore the suits and ties. I didn't dress like I dress now. Wore the suits and ties, went to networking events, and was constantly, I read the book. So I was going up to people, hey, I'll take you out to lunch. I'll work with you for free. I want to learn from you. And, some things work for the most part, um, especially when it came to my people. I didn't necessarily get the feedback that I would have liked to have helped me in my journey, but it was lessons learned. And I still got help. I think when you are a driven person, eventually the universe is going to direct the right people to you. So I did. I got a lot of help. I got a lot of help from Caucasians, female, some males. I got help from different races. I did get some help from my people. So, but it was a challenge. It was tough. Just trying to maneuver. I remember one particular conference I went to. I went to a conference, a Black Enterprise conference, and obviously you had the people winning all the awards, and we actually, after they do all the sessions during the morning, they have networking events where you're at the bar. And one of the reasons I love the bar is because people let loose a little bit. My introverted self, especially when, back in the day, I was a lot more introverted than I am now. I needed that help to help me talk a little bit more, be confident to go up to people and ask questions. So I would go up to people, ask them, hey, so and so, do you know so and so? Can you refer me to this person? Or if it was I actually had access to the person that was getting all the awards, I would go up to them, ask them questions like, I'm starting a business. What advice do you have for me? Can we get in the call? Can I get your email or your phone number? And I built up a pretty good database, um, but I never really got the answers that I felt I needed, or I felt like if I was in that position, I would give. And so, a lot of the journey was just continuing to build these, database, email questions, ask for advice. But a lot of times it wasn't what I was looking for. It wasn't really helpful. And therefore, a lot of things I ultimately had to figure out on my own. Fast forward, I ended up partnering with someone. We were running a home care business. The early stages with that is the majority of the owners in that system don't look like me. One, me and my partner were younger. We were also black, and initially, I wasn't really getting a lot of advice or getting in a circle to be able to interact and learn how they were having the success that they were having. And so once again, in that situation, I had to figure it out on my own. I had to, hear what they were doing and try to replicate it on my own. But it wasn't a lot of, hey, Brian, we see your owner, you're right next to us. Hey, come, this is how we do it. Let's work together. It wasn't a lot of that. It was more of me kind of saying, okay, I see they do this. I'm looking on their pages. Let's use our page like that. This, and that. And after a while, we started to have success. And one of the things I learned with that, once you start having success, people are more willing to help you. But once again, that's a challenge, right? Because when you're trying to figure it out, you just want some help. You just want someone to uh, put their um, skills to the test and teach what they know, because that's what you would do, and that's what I do currently. But it didn't happen that way for me. So yeah, I mean, and through that, we managed to be. I think in one year we managed to be out of like 400 or 500 offices. We managed to be the number 3 office that had multiple territories. So yeah, it was a journey. It's been a journey, just really, really getting help. And one thing about that business, um, for 10 straight years, we um, grew our revenues significantly, and we could never get a loan. They kept saying your personal credit, you got issues with this. And one thing you got to realize, when you're young and black and you come from the situations in the streets that I came from, in order for you to even become an entrepreneur, in order for you to build the business, you got to take a lot of risks. And when you take a lot of risks, unfortunately, your credit is affected by that. And that was my situation. My partner was similar, not as bad as mine, but my partner was similar. So every time we would go to a bank, we would go to small banks, we go to big banks, we would go to banks that's getting all of our money all year. And they would say the same thing. Your credit is hurt. I mean, your credit isn't good. So we're not going to give you a loan. But I'm like, hold up. Look, our business pretty much shows we can pay this loan back by our revenues. We're making money. We just need a little bit more a loan to grow. I mean, that's how everybody else do it in business. And we get no, 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 no. I mean, the only time we even got a little bit of assistance, we had to go the hard money route. And if you know anything about loans and things like that, you understand hard monies, they're charging you a hell of a lot of interest. And ultimately, it's never really a good situation, but it does help in the short term. So, um, but while we're going through that, we're meeting people that are just getting into the business, don't have no experience running the business. and they go to their bank and they get a $600,000 loan, a 600,000 line of credit. Never have any experience, don't have the credentials or the resume we have, but they got it. And I'm not playing the race game, but they were white and they were able to get that. And in fact, we actually went through that same lender, said, hey, so and so got this loan. And obviously we ain't throwing under the bus, but we're like, this so and so got this loan. Can you run the same program for us? They pulled the numbers and no. And so I'm more so bringing this up for you to understand that it's tough. It's tough when you factor when you factor everything together, right? Like I'm not complaining. I'm not looking for a sob story. I'm just giving you facts, right? When you grow up poor, you overcome that, you get to college, you go to corporate America, you get the balls, you start a business, you have success in the business, and all you need is a loan to help you grow the business, so sustain it and when things get tough. And when you're a black man or when you're black and young, those opportunities are not as available. It's almost like you got to be damn near perfect. And when you come from where I come from, ain't nobody perfect. I mean, damn near every dude I came up with either got locked up at some point, sold drugs, and unfortunately, a lot of people are dead. So, you know, I'm just sharing this to say there should be a better way, and I think a better way would be if our people actually combined our resources and supported each other more versus relying on them to help us. But that's a bigger, different conversation. But I think that is a solution. Once again, not just for me, but for the young person that's coming up and trying to figure out their way and saying, listen, I don't want to work for anybody. It doesn't make sense. Um, I want to try to do this on my own. And unfortunately, when you try to do it on your own and you don't even have access to capital, um, it makes it tough. And fast forward, now I got Body, mobile app, um, innovative concept, disruptive technology, two-sided. Think of Uber, Airbnb. Provide a service for people that go to bars and restaurants, and then a service for an application for people who own and operate bars and restaurants. We're trying to create more deeper, meaningful connections. And from our 7 years of studying and testing, getting feedback, we think we have a very valid solution. And we think that it's going to shake some things up in the bar and restaurant industry. Now, I'll never forget in 2018, I actually went to a conference. It was a pitch competition. I was selected as one of the top 100 startups, and we competed against other startups. And honestly, I got my ass handed to me. I mean, I'm in the pitch. I'm not the best public speaker, but I'm in the pitch and I'm getting feedback. And the crazy part is, obviously, it was my first time, so it was questions being asked to me that I had answers to, but it wasn't the answers they want to hear. But it was almost like people didn't really even want to hear what I was building. It was more so just critiquing everything that we presented. But that's neither here nor there. It is what it is. Um, but after the event, like we pitched, we got feedback, made some contacts, met some mentors. They had the after events once again where you can meet people, other people in the space, whether they had a startup there or they were just in that field. And I'll never forget meeting this young lady. She had an idea that I'm a kind of simplified, but she had an idea. She wrote on a piece of paper, and she ended up getting like 250,000 in funding. And her idea was nowhere near as thought out or put together, or even an actual physical product to show, which we had. And she received funding. Now, she did live in Silicon Valley. She did get access to investors. I even asked her for some of those contacts, and I think I reached out to them, and no luck from my end. But it was very interesting that her idea that wasn't even created was funded. Um, and it's almost like, once again, when you're a black founder, you got to be perfect. I mean, I've pitched Body to multiple people, and it's once again, a lot of those conversations or the discussion isn't really trying to understand what we're building. It's more so critiquing everything that you're not doing yet. And so, once again, I've had to build this concept on my own dime. And the reason why Black people, we don't own a lot of these businesses because most people will give up. I mean, I mean, I don't know what's wrong with me because part of me is like I probably should have given up, but I'm just not. I just it's not even in me to give up. But we don't build stuff because the journey is so hard, and hard is relative because everybody's story, man. I went through this, I went through that, whatever. But when you don't even have access to capital, man, that shit is damn near impossible because sometimes it's just a matter of, okay, I get this $100,000 check. I can actually hire people to help me so it's not all on me. I don't have to nickel and dime, do this and this and that. I actually have the ability to see if this idea will work. I have some support. And if it doesn't, oh well. I put my best foot forward. The investors look at it like, oh well, we understand that one out of every 1,000 investments we make is going to hit. But we see potential in your idea and we're willing to invest in you. But once again, being a Black founder is a lot harder. I think that the number is less than 3% of Blacks get funded with their ideas. And so, once again, what's the solution? I mean, they come up with a lot of programs. I mean, and I've applied to a lot. There's always some stipulation or something behind it. Um, and I applaud all of the Black founders that have gotten funding. I'm sure their story might be different than mine. And once again, I'm not crying about this. I'm just letting you know facts from my perspective. It's tough. And a solution could be if more of my people actually supported ideas like mine. And the thing about it is, I'm not building something where I'll make a little bit of money and run off to the sunset. I'm building a company where I'm trying to change the dynamic for the better. I'm trying to provide lots and lots of jobs. And ultimately, I am a founder. I am a visionary that wants to pull down and pull other people up. That's why I do a YouTube. That's why I've done podcasts in the past. That's why I talk what I talk on social media. That's why I do the things that I do because I ultimately want to put myself in position to help more people. So it's not one of them things where I'm saying, hey, you should support me because you're Black and I'm Black so that I can go out here and drive a nice car and say, I told you so, look at me. No, it's I'm trying to build something that can sustain and last for generations. And we can actually hire ourselves. We can say we have Black tech founders building multi-million, billion-dollar companies. So because sometimes when I look at my journey with Body, when I look at my journey with the Bar Gang, sometimes I say to myself, why am I doing this? Like I had a little bit of success and I could have literally took the money and run. I could have, boy, I love when I went to Thailand and Bali and you don't need as much money over there. Like I could have literally taken my money and run and just live a good life. I met a lot of people. I've actually met Blacks over in Asia and in Europe in certain places living amazing lives. But for some reason, I want to help and I want to help people. Um, I want to help a lot of people. And once again, I think that this idea is ideas that I have are bigger than me. When I'm doing this, bigger than me. And it would be a lot easier to do and accomplish and deal with if there was more support, especially from my people. So yeah, I think that's mainly what I really wanted to talk about. Just the journey of being a Black founder. Um, I did. I know what I want to do. Before I wrap up, I actually want to read you guys like an open letter that I wrote to my people. Once again, this ain't no doom and gloom show. I'm just being 100 with you guys. It's tough. I'm not giving up, and everything I said I'm going to do, I'm going to do. But it's tough, and everybody's not me. There's a lot of younger guys coming up, younger Black males coming up. and they're not cut out to work in corporate America. They're not cut out to work for someone, and they're better and bigger than being in that mass incarceration prison system. Um, some people have skills to do an abundance of things, and they need help to get those ideas off the ground. So one, they could take care of their family, and they could build generational wealth for future family members and individuals. So anyway, let me read you my letter, and then I'm gonna wrap up and go from there. Before I do, please like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts, man. Let me know if I'm overthinking this. Let me know if I'm complaining. If you think I'm complaining, I don't think I am, but I'm open to feedback. But anyway, here's my letter. I went to an all-black elementary school, middle school, and high school, attended HBCU, although I had a full ride to the University of Maryland College Park. And then I invested in real estate in a predominantly black Prince George's County, with every indicator pointed to investing in DC. I hired black, educated black, mentored black, partnered with blacks, empowered blacks, married black, and never manipulated black. I speak black, love black so much that I want us to win more than anything. I own a small black business in my hometown. I'm building a black technology company and created a black NFT collection. Uh, but where is my black support? Now, I get support from family members, some people very close to me. But you would think with going to I went to all black public schools, I went to HBCU, you would think there would be more black support for what I'm doing. But it's crickets. Um, Now, Body should have had thousands of downloads when it first launched, just from my affiliation with my HBCU. Bar Gang should have sold out the first day just because I went to the high school I went to. If I started a GoFundMe and 1% of black people I know invested with me, I would never have to take a dime from a white VC. I mean, that's key, because see, they always say we don't own black. That where are the black companies? Where are the black things like that? But the problem is, because we don't support our own or put our money together, we do got to take the money from the white VCs. And what happens is they end up taking over those companies. So anyway, let me keep going. That keeps the money in the black community, and we all win. Do you realize how much wealth is generated from concepts like Uber and Airbnb for their respective communities? We're just as capable of building companies like these. We just have to swallow our pride and support one another, especially the pioneers blazing the trails. One successful black owned company like that creates wealth opportunities for a lifetime. And I mean real black financial support. So the money truly circulates within. See, every time we take dollars from an investor, we lose ownership. Now, Body is potentially $1 billion concept. And guess what? It's totally self funded. NFTs are create millionaires. Do you think Mark Zuckerberg or Elon Musk could have done what they did by themselves? I'm just tired of all the talk of supporting our own. I mean, Black Lives Matter raised $90 million, and I'm not even sure if that money went into the black community, um, in my opinion. So if it did and I'm wrong, please correct me. Um, because when we have the opportunity to do so, we don't. It's hard doing anything great without community support as well as financial support. We gave millions to organizations um, because the media told us to. And where are they now? How did all that money go to help our communities? Now, me personally, I want to build $1 billion company so I can help create other black billionaires. How we do that is through black economics. We need wealthy individuals who are honest and truly supporting pulling up the next person, not a PR stunt, but because they mean it. Instead of we idolize support the people in the media who tell us to follow, who to follow, and it's sad. We need black businesses that are around for years so that my kids have guaranteed jobs and opportunities just because they are black. I mean, where's the black Facebook? Where's the black Tesla? Black Disney? I appreciate Jay-Z. I appreciate Kanye West, LeBron, Jordan, but that shouldn't be the definition of black success. Black success is the average everyday person making 250 to 500,000 as business owners or executives doing whatever they want, whenever they want, traveling all over the world. It shouldn't be about glorifying fame. It should be about living an amazing real life. It would be so easy for me to take the money and run. but I don't want to do that. I want to help. Um, I mean, once again, I've seen so many people do it. I applaud them. They're living an amazing life. But I'm built different. I'm built the way I am. Thank you, Grandma, for building me how I am. But I want to see us win, and I want to do my part. Um, Honestly, this post is just a rant and I've been holding inside of me for a long time. Some of us really want to be a part of real change for the next generations. Anyway, rant is over. Um, please let me say, no, that's it. That's it. That's some other part that I kind of talked about. But yeah, that's it, man. I just want you guys to understand. Um, I'm not an athlete. I'm not an entertainer. I am a Black businessman. I am a visionary. I want to help. And I believe that I am building something great. And unfortunately, I have not gotten the support and the help from the financial community that I would like. Um, as we come out, my belief is that that support will come, and it would be great if it was my people supporting me, um, not just with their words, not just with their downloads or using their application, but with also their dollars. So I want to wrap up with this. One of the concepts that where I do think they got this right in the past was Black Wall Street. And if you're familiar with the story, uh, yeah, they tore that down, and it was never rebuilt again. I think that was in what, the 20s, 1920s, and here we are 100 years later, and it still hasn't been rebuilt. So let me leave you with this, and then I'm gonna wrap up. Black-owned businesses once thrived in the area called Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, but then it was burned to the ground. That happened in 1921, and some folks are just learning about it. So you're probably thinking the same thing I'm thinking. Why wasn't that taught in Black History Month? I've been running the business for over 15 years, but I was never able to secure a business loan, even though our revenues were increasing every year. Then COVID happened, and magically loans became plentiful. So you're telling me all it takes is for a pandemic to happen, for a Black man to get a loan? Now I have a technology company called BOTYDay. It's not easy securing funding for no startup. But when you're Black, you get less than 3% of investments. Every entrepreneur needs supportive conditions to flourish. Some of the people we call geniuses needed help for that. Well, it's time to hit the gym because there's no days off. Black Wall Street needs to be rebuilt nationally. It shouldn't take miracles and travesties for Blacks to be supported. We are creators and innovators, but we are not perfect. We just need access, and this should start with funding and supporting our own. Smile for a thumbnail. Message. So look, y'all, I am getting out of here. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'm really trying to build this YouTube channel, obviously to promote the things that I'm working on, but get my voice a little bit louder. So hopefully I can help the next person. I didn't talk about NFTs as much. I will in the next show, but I just wanted to get this out. It's Black History Month, although some people like the term Black Future Month. I like Black Future Month, but for all of your definitions, it's Black History Month. So I feel like I have to do my part and contribute to that. So I'm out of here. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please leave me a comment. I mean, like I said, if you don't like what I'm saying, hey, let me hear about it. This is my story. These are my facts, and this is my life. And I hope it helps you. Peace.